Happy Friday Night Live, everybody. Thank you for giving me a few minutes. It has been a wild day over here, and we're going to talk about it. Tonight, we are covering quick case updates on some of the cases we're tracking on this channel, and a lot of questions about things like, can voice memos be legally shared? What about that crazy Hayley Paige wedding dress case? Have you seen that Erica Girardi moved? And all of the things. So tonight is going to have quick topical updates, then a lot of your questions. Then we're going to do court of public opinion. I am so excited to be here. I'm so excited to see you. Let's get into it. Hi there. If we haven't met yet, I'm Emily D. Baker. I'm the badass lawyer, host of The Emily Show podcast, and I am a legal commentator breaking down the legal shit behind the news and pop culture stories that we all want to talk about. I have been a licensed attorney for over 15 years, but this is not legal advice. I am a big fan of the cursey words, so headphones are recommended. This is where the law nerds unite with facts, not fuckery. Everybody, it's Friday night, and sometimes on Friday night we have the adulty drinks. Tonight I've kept it classy with canned wine from Little Big Town, watermelon rosé, day drinking. That's what we're doing. That we're keeping it classy. That's what we're doing. But I did bring a glass. Like, I'm not going to drink it just straight from the can. You guys, it's been that kind of a week. I've got to tell you before we jump into anything, what happened to me today. I have to tell you what happened today. I was on a team call with Octo, who is Warren, who's on the Baker Media executive team as a brand strategist and all things. And my girl NJ, who actually gave me this shirt, made this shirt for me, which I love. It just says the law, which I just love. And we were on a call and I'm like, wait a second, you guys. And they're like, what is happening? And I'm like, wait, this is not happening. And I see Octo in the chat. What's up, friend? I was just like, this is not happening. And we do live in Middle Tennessee. Lots of people drive very large trucks. That is not strange. But this truck backed up kind of in the area in front of my house, a bit onto my grass. And it's like, it's not the people that we are expecting. It's not anyone that we know. I'm kind of on like neighborhood watch all the time anyway, because I can see that from my office. So I'm like sitting here going, what? Dude gets out of his truck, goes around to the side, like the flatbed's here. Like I can see this way, the flatbed's here, the driver's side's here, comes around, stands at the back of the truck and starts peeing on my lawn. Like, I mean, it's not a lawn. I mean, we have like an acre, but like starts peeing next to his truck. I took a picture. I'm not putting the picture on the internet because I was like, my husband needs to see what happened. So truck bed dude, I can see from here peeing onto the. I was like, what's happening? So I popped up my window and I was like, can I help you? And he's like, I'm just looking for and got back in the car and was gone. I was like, what is happening in my world right now? Like, I've obviously seen people pee on the side of the road. Michael, I'm so excited about this. I'm ready to hit 80K tonight. So that's the goal for this evening. If you guys aren't subbed, do it up. We've got over 2,000 law nerds in here. People are saying, welcome to the South. Welcome to the country. I mean, it was just, I was just like, wait though. But like, there's a house right here. Like, oh, okay. It was so strange. It was so strange. I guess the dude just absolutely had to go. But I was like, this is not happening right now. It's good to see all of you from Facebook. This is the only night that I stream on both YouTube and Facebook. So for the Facebook people, I cannot see on Facebook how many people are watching, but I always keep the YouTube numbers because they tend to be, well, larger. So we've got over 2,000 people on the YouTube. It was just too funny. I was just like, what is happening? But okay, so in high school though, there's only 2,000 of us on stream. We're all friends. So in high school, I played water polo on a men's team. I'm going to tell stories. I'm going to tell stories. And the people I went to high school with will know the stories, but everybody else won't. No names. Chat. If any of you knew me growing up, no names in the chat. A lot of people watch these videos. Sometimes they end up in legal documents. No names. No names. Kanta, how are you? She said, hello, Emily. Just wanted to let you know you were the one that introduced me to The Mandalorian. I'm so glad. That's such an honor that I introduced you to The Mandalorian. Watched it all. Love from Peru. I'm so glad that you loved it. That is such a high compliment. Thank you so much. Karsten says, I live in a beach city in SoCal next to downtown. People pee in my bushes all the time. I grew up in SoCal. And yeah, that happened, especially when we were growing up on the 4th of July. We used to do like from Manhattan Beach to Hermosa Beach. And that strip is 2 miles on the Strand. And if people were also drinking, sometimes maybe that happened. But okay, so in high school, since we're talking about like bodily functions, you guys, I'm loving the love for my TED Talk. Like everybody's like, Emily, you're inspiring. And I'm like, I'm about to tell you all another bodily function story, but I love that you're here for it. And you're like, Emily, it's okay if you tell us about people peeing on the lawn and then what happened in high school because no, Gemma, you sure didn't. I was late, girl. So we're all good. Okay. So in high school, there was a guy on my water polo team. Again, chat. Those of you that know me, no names. No names. Oh, I missed a super chat. I'm so sorry. You guys, the chat just jumped. Steph, Emily, I love your show. Thank you. I watched your TEDx and recommend changed my life. I wish I could send more. No, Steph, being here is it. Subbing is it. Thumbs upping is it. Thank you guys for the support. The support just of you guys being here and being ready to like ride with the law nerds and embracing facts, not fuckery, and like calling out fuckery where you see it and keeping it moving is so inspiring to me. I'm happy truly to be here with you all. So Steph, thank you so much. Again, financial times are really tough right now. So even being able to enjoy something, share that you like this channel with your friends, it really does mean the world. The sub numbers are for sure fun and they help like with clout with my kid, which is literally the most important clout in the world. But it's really that, when we hit 80,000 subs, that's 80,000 law nerds who are embracing facts, not fuckery, to make the conversation around law factual and then have conversations around the other fuckery too. And that's why it's so important. So I love it. So thank you so much from Mexico, Selena. We are definitely getting closer with the subs. It turns purple with your shampoo. I love that you have purple hair too. So played men's water polo in high school. And here's something you guys might know. For like lifeguards in LA County, and I know LA County best because I have lots of friends who are LA County lifeguards because I grew up in that area and swam and all the things. But in LA County, lifeguards don't have restrooms in their towers. So when I see all you guys telling your bottle pee stories, that totally happens to lifeguards. Easier for the dudes. Like things I feel like get addressed for men, but not as easily addressed for women. Peeing in a bottle, like women have to deal with other things to make that happen. Female thru hikers also have to deal with this. Thank you, Abe. So played on the men's team in high school. There's a picture of it in my TED Talk of my team. Do not try to figure out who it is. Or maybe do. That might be funny. I'm not encouraging that. I mean, I'm not discouraging that either. But either way, there was a gentleman on our team who had the ability to kind of poop wherever he was. And on more than one occasion, that was on the floor of the opposing team's locker room. This was not something that I endorsed or even understood because woman, and I can't. Like even camping, I camp where there are toilets. So I didn't understand the ability to literally poop on the floor on demand before water polo games when we were at other high schools. So for anyone that had that experience in high school, I'm sorry. That was my team. It came to my attention only once when my coach called the team meeting in the men's locker room because there was nowhere on the pool deck to have the team meeting. And then this happened while we were in the team meeting. And I was like, I'm sorry. What is this? And the guys were like, oh no, yeah, most away games. And I'm like, and this is why I have my own locker room, except when we would play schools that forgot to open the women's locker room because they're like, no, there's women's restrooms here. We don't need a locker room. It's a men's team. And I'd be like, hi, I'm Emily. I'd really like my own locker room. Thanks. So that story time. That was a whole random, like, we digress into high school stories versus we digress into DA stories, but those happen too. We are going to talk about cybersecurity in just a second because I've talked about it on social. We're going to have to talk about it for a second. Thank you, Barbara Jean, for the love. Just paid my attorney $500 for a 45-minute call today. Yes, but hopefully the 45-minute call will save you lots and lots and lots of money in the future. Like, lawyers oftentimes are preventative, and we talk about this in the Hayley Paige case. I got you, Octo, I got you. We talk about this in the Hayley Paige case. If she had understood all of that contract, and we don't know, she says she didn't have a lawyer look it over, and it seems didn't quite understand that she was actually selling all the rights to her name. And in that case, I have an episode of the Emily Show on it on this channel. I have 2 videos. It'll be linked in the lawsuit sections. But she worked for JLM Bridal Designs. She was on Say Yes to the Dress and all the things. Her employment contract gave the company the rights to trademark all versions of her name in a commercial capacity. They're fighting over her Instagram account. The business is saying it's a business account. She is saying it's her personal account. It's got over 1 million followers. That's big money in the Instagram world. So there's this fight over her name that she sold. And what's going to happen with the Instagram account? Fighting over her name is really not something she can do. It's contracted. They own the trademarks. She's not going to be able to design under that name. Will she get her name back for the purposes of social media and for doing other things not wedding dress related? We'll see. But that's where $500 for a 45-minute call, $1,500 for a document review, all of that would have been really, really helpful. So we wouldn't be years and years later spending tens of thousands in litigation fighting over a business asset that has a lot of value. So that's where those things can feel very expensive. And you don't always see how much money a good lawyer saves you because they save it before it happens. So you don't always see preventative care. It's preventative care, and you don't always see it. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Teresa. If you're an Apple user and have 2-factor set up on Apple ID, please add a second trusted phone number, friendly PSA. Thank you, Teresa. And getting into that, I'm going to talk more about security and cybersecurity next week too. I've shared with you guys, and some of you have seen it on Twitter, that there have been threats against me on Twitter and others that have covered the Toddy Westbrook case. And then the attorney involved in the Toddy Westbrook case, Saltsy, as we call him on this channel. There have been attacks on my passwords, my accounts, and all of that stuff. I had 2-factor on before this. I use a password manager. I do the things that you can do for cybersecurity. And my computer guy is tracking back. I have a very good computer. I have a very good professional working on it who is tracking back the source of those hacks and why, and trying to track back between the cyber attacks and the Twitter threats. They seem to be connected. So we are safe. We are well. We are tracking it back. We are calling the fuckery what it is, and we are going to continue moving on. So that's why I've been talking about cybersecurity. This week, I was talking about it before when we were talking about Trisha Paytas too. And as I get into case updates, a lot of you have asked me on Instagram, and I've seen it on Twitter too, about everything that's going on with Trisha and Shane and Jeffrey, because Dramageddon or Trishageddon or Dramageddon Return of the Trish. Ooh, I like Return of the Trish. Dramageddon. It's like Dramageddon 4, Return of the Trish. So Dramageddon 4, Return of the Trish, or Trishageddon, is definitely calling back to Toddy Westbrook's Breaking My Silence video. There's a lot of concurrent themes going on. And that's the reason I've chatted about it a little bit. But when it comes to things like sharing voice memos and sharing voice notes, I will talk about that. And Peter Mon and I had a phone call about that today. So I figured I would just share that with you. I know he was making a video on it. I haven't had a chance to see that yet, but he was going to make a video about that. And I will tell you kind of the lawyer perspective on sharing voice notes versus recording phone calls versus sharing emails and text messages and things like that. Tifa, I just wanted to thank you for your Amazon store link. You're welcome. You bought the Revlon One-Step Hairdryer and Volumizing Hot Air Brush, and it's changed your life. It is literally, we just need to, this channel is going to like work a Revlon sponsorship at some point. No, I'm not a beauty influencer, but that hairdryer is like a time saver. Like that is a busy woman's friend to being able to like get on a Zoom call and be like, we cute enough. It's good. Let's go. Like, I feel like, we're getting it done. And I feel like I have a reputation to keep up with the edges now because I feel like the edges have become a source of conversation. So we got to keep it. I mean, if it doesn't look good, we can't get the edges we can't get them laid down right. So Madarin, taking my final 7 hours of law school classes and looking at the UBE coming up in July. A long 4 years to get there, but it has been a fun ride. Love having you on in the background while studying. Well, Madarin, congratulations from all of the law nerds. I'm just going to take it on behalf of the entire community to say congratulations. Final 7 hours of law school is such like the home stretch. Good for you for staying focused. And hopefully the things we talk about here feel like they're kind of studying related. So, Barbafette, first of all, the screen name is so fucking on point. I'm dead. I live. Did anyone else get hacked other than Emily? So I did not get hacked. They were attempts. I have had a lot of people reach out on Twitter to say there were attempts made on their account. I do not know if those things are connected or not connected. This also was happening around the same time that somebody got into Creepshow's Instagram and were making comments about her up on the Twitter briefly. And others that have commented on Twitter to some of those posts have had attempts on their accounts. But if you have two-factor authentication on, it is going to be very difficult to get into your accounts. So always a reminder for two-factor authentication. So let me get into our quick updates. I love seeing all you guys say congratulations. I'm just going to take a second to say hello to my parents. Hi. It's good to see you guys. It was lovely chatting today. I love you both. We're going to talk about fuckery a lot, so just get a drink. It's going to be that kind of a night. Okay, Robin P. I love this. I've been getting so many notes of you guys going, okay, I finally turned on two-factor authentication. I love it. Here's what I learned in the process of turning on two-factor authentication on Instagram a while ago. Did you know? You can turn off where it shows if you're active on Instagram or not. So like people can't see if you're on or not. It's in your settings. It was amazing. I was like, oh, you can turn it off so people don't know if you're on or not. I love it. Heather said, in general, if you get death threats, do you press charges or does the prosecutor take over? So for a lot of people, what I would suggest, again, it's going to vary by where you live, but I always recommend if stuff's going down, get screenshots, write out a contemporaneous timeline of this is what's going on, this is what I experienced, this is what I've noticed, and then take the process into, do I need to make a report? Can I figure out where this is coming from? Do I need to report it to the platforms? And do I have anyone I can reach out to help with this? Remember, taking online threats with caution is important, but also it just depends on the circumstances going on about what your immediate next step is. If you feel immediately unsafe, take the screenshots, fuck everything else I just said and call the police. Like if you feel immediately threatened, take screenshots, call the police. If you are like, I'm not quite sure if this is credible or if people are fucking with me, take your screenshots, write out your contemporaneous timeline of this is what's going on in the world that could be related to this if you know, And then you can report, especially on Twitter, you can report the account to the platform, and then you can go from there. The thing I would do if that kind of thing comes up is make sure you change any passwords that need to be changed, double check your two-factor authentication, and go from there. And then keep an eye out for any doxing attempts. If there's anyone connected to you that people are trying to get to, give them a heads up as well. Those are kind of my general first things that I would look towards. And then it's things like not clicking links that you don't know in emails or in text messages. Like, don't click the link. Don't click the link. Like, hey, there's this video of you. No, there's not. Don't click the link. Don't click the link. Don't click the link. When you look at emails, and we'll have to do a whole video on this, but when you look at emails, break it out big so you can see the full email address, and know that big companies generally communicate to you in your accounts as well. So if you don't think it's genuine and it's about an account, like, we need you to update your social security number. No, you don't. Go into that account, log into the website, and don't click. A lot of these are phishing attempts. And during COVID, I have noticed that the amount of phishing attempts and kind of cyber crimes has skyrocketed, particularly with regards to small businesses and the Paycheck Protection Program. And hey, apply for this loan here. Like, every time the government rolls out anything fast, the cyber criminals are like, yes, people are going to be like confused and in a hurry and panicked. And now it's our time to be like, click this link to apply for the PPP, guaranteed. Like, oof. So be slow, be mindful. Don't click the link. Don't click the link. Don't click the link. C-Slaw said, I am a beauty product snob, LOL, and have multiple sclerosis. So my grip condition isn't the best sometimes. I bought the Revlon hair dryer you recommended, and it's amazing, life-changing. C-Sleuth, that's amazing. And I have shoulder issues. Refer back to the water polo conversation, and it's lightweight enough that it doesn't hurt. Okay, Revlon, I'm really not doing a commercial. # not sponsored. We all just love this product. It sells out all the time. I know you know we love it, but also, my email's in my bio. We've got a few more I'm going to sweep, and then we're going to go talk about we're going to answer questions and talk about a minute order that was issued. Matarin said, I did one supervised research on online defamation and the limited public figure doctrine selected for publication, and I'm working on another about students being punished at school for online speech. Your channel has definitely been on point. I love that our lives are paralleling. And punishment in school or in the workplace for online speech is definitely an interesting topic. Would be a really fascinating time to be at law school, because you just have all the space to let your brain just check all the different things. So what a fun time to be in law school. Karina Z, thank you for saying hello to Mom and Dad Baker. I appreciate that. Hello. Love to love M. Emily, please talk about phishing, because that's what Salty says was going on with the emails he got. Thank you. You guys keep me on track so well. I appreciate you. Phishing attempts are where they try to get you to click a link, and the link will then literally through the web a lot of your personal information. It depends on the type of computer you have, but it can infect your computer so that they can see everything on your computer, that they can back-end access your computer and your emails, that they can log your keystrokes, meaning when you go to enter a password, they can see it, things like that. So phishing attempts are like them casting the line and seeing who bites, seeing who clicks that link so they can get their information, infect their computer. I could go on and on, but sometimes those phishing attempts will turn your computer into a bot. So then your computer will slow down because your computer is busy trying to hack other computers. There's so much. We'll do an Emily deep dive on cyber safety, but turn your two-factor on. Do not click links that you are not expecting and are unknown to you. And if you are worried about a link, have somebody send it to a Dropbox or something else like that. Don't click unknown links. And also having your computers up to date and having your security up to date and all of that definitely helps. Living Sweetly, Cybersecurity Basics, Tip 1. Uh-oh, did I freeze? It felt like I froze for a second. Cybersecurity Basics Tip Part 1. Think before you click. Always use two-factor authentication. Keep track on your digital footprint. Use only secure connections. And that would be something like a VPN for sure, or hardwired for sure. Thank you guys. You are all so kind. And now I realize how far behind I am in the chat, and I am sorry. We're gonna move forward. Grace says, but can you turn off random catfishing follow requests on Instagram? That's what I need to know. You can force unfollow people from you, but that is a very, very important part of this is the social engineering, like what you share on Instagram that people can publicly see is very, very important. You guys are so great. Yes, don't click the links. Go to the site. Zenties said you should totally click every link that you see all the time. No, you shouldn't. Read the facetiousness. Don't click the links, especially if the links aren't expected. All right. So, you guys have great tips. I love that the chat's handled. The law nerds are so clever. You guys are the best. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Excuse me. Is it excuse me? I think it's excuse me is what we mean. Social is what I should pronounce. Social phishing happens too. Don't repost those 20 questions. After a few of those, you answered most security questions. That's a very, very good point. I also get nervous about like the age progressions, about like what's the name of the street you lived on growing up, like all of that kind of stuff. And for ladies, protecting your maiden name is something to think about early on before you get married, about how much you're going to have it out there or not out there, things like that. We'll have to do a whole basics on safety. This is Mags, a fantastic point, who said they need to teach internet safety in schools. They absolutely should teach internet safety in schools. And then Ashley Bounds said everyone should also place fraud alerts on your credit reports and keep them updated. I work in financial fraud, and it's definitely been on the rise lately. Ashley, thank you for that. That's a fantastic tip. And absolutely putting those alerts on your credit report, not just yours, but your kids' credit reports too, if your kids have a social security number. And if you are caring for any family members that have a social security number that could be at risk, putting alerts on their social security numbers as well, because kids' socials can be used and you wouldn't even know it. That happened at the DA's office. We saw that a lot in the fraud victims. So there's the lightsaber lip gloss from, I know lightsaber's trademarked, but from Gerard Cosmetics. And I do have an affiliate code because I love it so much, and it's in there. All right. Diva Views was saying, don't touch the butt. And I appreciate the Dory reference. We got that. Okay. Let's pull up Pacer and get into this. My intention is to get into the update in the Toddy Westbrook KJ case. It's brief, answer any questions about that, then move on to what I've seen in the Girardi case and when we are going to update that Wednesday, and then moving into questions really regarding the Hayley Paige case. So I'm like, it's coming. It's processing. This is a chill Friday Night Live with 3,500 friends in here. And then at the end, we will get into court of public opinion, which is my favorite. Don't forget to subscribe. Tonight, you're going to hear me say that a lot because we're at 79.7. And there's 3,500 of us in here. So if you guys hit subscribe, we can hit 80K tonight. We can do it tonight, and it will be amazing. So let's pull up. And you guys, I see you guys asking a little bit about Peter Mon as well, and I can talk about that too. We just had a quick conversation today about Shane Dawson. So don't let me forget. I will get to that third. So we're going to do a quick update on the defamation case, a quick Girardi update, a quick update on sharing voice memos and like phone calls and security, and then Hayley Paige questions. Don't forget, Emily. Tech, put it in my chat. So I won't forget. I'm pulling up the docket report. Hey, why are you doing that? Give me my docket report. Yes, no, newest first. Yes, Emily, you should do this before you're live. But, I was trying to make my hair look cute. Like, no shade, true story. I was trying to make my hair look cute. Okay, let's pull this up. Screen share, have a drink. Let's get into what this minute order is from the judge in the Toddy Westbrook case. Oh, nope, that's just new. We need to make this bigger. Meh. Make it bigger, make it bigger. There, I feel like that's big enough. This is the docket. So for all of you that don't read court documents all the time, let's just take a moment. This is the docket. This tells you the case number. This tells you who, what, where, Westbrook et al. Versus Paulson et al., the judge it's assigned to, what the thing is, when it was filed, and then who the attorneys are, and then who the different plaintiffs are. So we've got plaintiff Toddy Westbrook, James Westbrook, Halo Beauty, defendant KJ, and WACB LLC. So here's the most recent updates. Item number 42 is a minute order. The minute order is the court's communication to the attorneys saying, this is what it is. This is what we're doing. For real quick background, because it's been a busy week. Toddy Westbrook, beauty guru, up here on the YouTubes, 9 million subs. Bye Sister Video is probably where you know her from, unless you were a fan from before that. She is suing another channel up here on the YouTubes for defamation. Things have happened. The case was filed. There was a motion to not delete your shit, motion to preserve evidence. That was resolved by stipulation. Then the defense answered with a jurisdiction motion saying to the court, you're not the boss of me. We don't live up in the Washington state, so you don't have authority over me. Like, literally, you're not the boss of me is the jurisdiction motion. As the jurisdiction motion has been going on, a lot of other shit went down. There's a playlist. You can see all the videos, and for the lives, they're time-stamped by topic. But in essence, you don't control me. We don't belong in this court. Move it to a different jurisdiction. Toddy Westbrook's side responded, actually, you can have jurisdiction here. And then more shit happened, and they filed a motion to include more shit. Like, hey, Your Honor, more shit's happened since we said that, so can we include it? Then the defense responded. Then the plaintiff responded again. Then there was another motion to include more shit. Like, wait. Even more shit happened. Can we include that shit too? Then shit went down on Twitter, and then the defense, KJ, filed a motion to say, Your Honor, shit has gone down on Twitter. Please make plaintiff's counsel shut the fuck up. And that's where we're at. We're at, Your Honor, please make them stop talking. Filed by the defense. I did a live read of that earlier this week. It will be linked when this is no longer live. And now the judge has filed a minute order after that was filed. So the 19th is when that declaration from Michael Brown and a new declaration from KJ regarding all of these cyber hacks and attacks that went down on the internet this week and relating to them. There's a whole video on it. The minute order says, this court is in receipt of defendant's motion for status conference, motion 39. That's right here. Motion for status conference. And email correspondence from counsel for both parties regarding the schedule for hearing that motion. The court hereby modifies the briefing schedule in its standing order. The court has a standing order. The court has mentioned their standing order in almost every minute order. The standing order is like, in my court, these are my rules. It's like house rules. In our house, this is what we do. So the court has said the briefing schedule, which means, okay, you said some shit, and now the other side's going to say some shit, and then you can respond. It's like sitting with kids trying to make them have a conversation when they're in conflict. It's like, no, Tommy, you go first. Okay. I've heard you. Sarah, it's your turn. Okay. All right, Tommy, how would you respond to what Sarah has just said? No, Tommy, nothing new. Just respond to what Sarah just said. And so on and so forth. That's what a briefing schedule is. So the briefing schedule, the court hereby modifies the briefing schedule in its standing order as applied to this motion as follows. Plaintiffs shall file a response. That means Saltsy has till January 27th to file a response. What day is January 27th? I did have to bust out my phone. Okay, so Wednesday. So Saltsy has till like midnight on Wednesday to file that motion. Defendants may file a reply no later than January 29th. So that's the following, again, your girl needs a calendar because, right. Oh, so Salty can file by the end of day Wednesday, and then KJ has to respond by Friday. Oh, goody. Guess what we're going to be talking about some next week? More motions. All right. So the 27th and then the 29th. The court sets a hearing on the motion for Monday, February 1st. So they bumped it up. So Monday, February 1st, there's going to be a hearing. The first hearing in this case. I have thoughts about that. And then the second little notice was reset deadlines and hearings, telephone conference set for 2/1. It's a telephone conference set for 2/1 per direction of chambers. So that means the judge's direction is that, hey, we're having this hearing and that's what's going on. So, all right. Here's what that means. One, there will be more motions filed with regard to the Twitter shit. This isn't even regards to the motion. I wonder though, and I still wonder, and I have not researched this because I'm pondering to y'all, but I'm going to be very curious to see how this comes up. Defense are asking the court to do shit. Hey, Your Honor, do this shit. Make them do this. We need an emergency. We need mom to intervene. Like literally, mom, he's touching me. Mom, mama, mommy, mother, mama. Anyway, they're asking the court to intervene in a specific way. Generally, that would waive the jurisdictional complaint because you're now submitting that the court has authority. Like, you can't say, you're not the boss of me, and then turn around and say, but in this case, please be the boss of me. So they're asking for this to be heard. I think it might moot the jurisdictional argument that we've all been so interested. So we might not even get an answer on the jurisdiction motion because it might be, okay, you want me to hear this? Well, then you're saying that I have the authority to do something in this case. And if I have the authority to do something in this case, then you can no longer argue jurisdiction. Once you submit to the court's authority, like once you bend the knee, you can't undo that shit. So I think Brown filing this motion may intentionally or otherwise subject them to jurisdiction in the court in Washington, which means all of the money and the motions and the fighting that went on with regard to the motion to dismiss was irrelevant. Like all of it becomes irrelevant because most of the stuff we've seen, the Lori-Ann declaration that was like, oh, and the other motions in that all went to jurisdiction. The only reason anyone gave a shit where KJ's subs or members or Lori-Ann was because of the jurisdiction. Once that's gone, we get to go back to defamation questions and conversations about defamation and remembering that, Toddy Westbrook's the other party in this lawsuit, not Michael Saltz. So that. I love that we've got some more cybersecurity basics. Tips part 2, you are not immune to cams, etc. Back up your data. Beware of social engineering. And remember that cyber criminals don't discriminate. Secure all camera feeds, etc. Yes. Agreed. Thank you, Living Sweetly. I agree, Grace Case. And this includes the which Harry Potter house are you in and stuff like that. Let me see if there's anything else. It's good to see you. Oh, Kim, it's so good to see you, lady. Hello. We have almost 4,000 people up on the YouTubes. So that sometimes the Facebook questions get buried a little bit. So let me see. I saw a couple questions I wanted to ask. No, Matrix Unraveling. This is a hearing motion for the attorneys. That's a call-in. So the attorneys are talking about the OSC. So this is a on the party line kind of a hearing, unless of course this court does Zoom. It could be a Zoom hearing, but we'll see. We talked about this, Nicole, a little bit earlier. Phishing is attempts to get personal information. So we did cover that, and we're going to need to do a cyber one for sure. It's easier for me, you guys, and I know the mods put it in there. It's easier for me to see questions if they say question first, because I love that you guys have conversation in the chat. And sometimes if I pop in, I'm like, oh, wait, you guys were all talking to each other. That's not a question for me. So when I see question, it's much easier for me to pull it up. So thank you. Do you think KJ's lawyer knew that? I mean, he would have to have known that. It might just be that this has become so important that it doesn't matter. So we'll see. But yes, unless he has a different position of the case, he can always say, well, no. I mean, what would their argument be that it doesn't? Because it's my opinion that it does waive jurisdiction. But what would their argument be? You're going to watch my brain try to work at how the other side would think in that situation when I disagree. I mean, I guess their argument would be it's related enough to but then it would go into the briefing schedule for the motion to dismiss. But the argument might be it's related enough to the motion to dismiss that it's not submitting to jurisdiction. It'll be interesting to see if it comes up by any of the parties, or if the court's like, if you want me to rule in a way that shows authority, you're submitting to authority. So question, hearings are public, but due to the pandemic, they're held via teleconference. So how can the public view the hearing? Some courts allow the teleconferences to be attended by the public. Some do not. Question, is Salty likely to be admonished? He asks questions. He doesn't accuse. Thoughts. It depends how the judge is feeling about all of the nonsense that has happened, because there's a lot that's gone down. But I think if that were true, if the judge was annoyed with the amount of motions that have been filed, I think both attorneys would be warned. I have not seen anything that Salty has done on Twitter that's raised eyebrows for me. I don't see anything that's outside of the bounds of attorney ethics or covering a case. I know others disagree with that assessment, but I haven't seen anything that's problematic there. I have seen the behavior of Attorney Brown to be more problematic to me. And that is just in the Lori Ann declaration, the breakdowns from her that Brown was trying to get her to sign a declaration that maybe misstated things. The statement, like, if you could say that this was a threat and you felt harassed, like that's kind of the sum of that statement. That is way fucking more problematic to me than anything I've seen Salty do on Twitter. Like, way outside of the bounds. So if attorneys are going to be admonished, the judge might admonish both of them. Like, in the what in the fuck are you all doing kind of a conversation, because there's been the Girardi case is moving fast too, because there's so many different lawsuits. But for just one lawsuit, this shit has so much happening. It's bananas. Like, I really intended when I first talked about this case, because I followed Tati, I have followed the beauty community since Dramageddon 1. It's how I started watching Peter Mon. It's how I found the commentary community, was kind of through not understanding the beauty community drama and being like, I don't know who all of these people are, and I need someone to just break it down. And the commentary community was like, here's the tea, here's the background. This is who Gabriel Zamora is and why he pops off every time this happens. And I feel like this case just needs that, because when I first covered it, I was like, there's going to be a filing, and then there will be a response, and then there will be discovery. And then in a year, we'll be like, hey, remember that thing we talked about a year ago? This is what happened. Oh, no. Oh, no. No. No, this case has gotten wild. And then the threats on Twitter against not just myself, but people who have commented on the case, other commentary channels, the attorney involved in the case, like, all of that has brought in a serious side. And though that will move slower because it will involve a cyber investigation, there will be results from what that is. And there could be criminal or criminality underlying some of that, because some of the threats made are specific criminal threats. So this case has gone off the rails real fucking hard. And then I just got dragged into it by my fucking hair. But, you know, we wear the hair down, we take off the earrings, and we're good. Kiki, that's exactly, the judge is absolutely going to pull the car over and yell at everybody. And that is really, if the attorneys get admonished, it's going to be like, children, both of you, what is happening here? Because so much has happened. So much has happened. So much has happened. Since Attorney Brown is from the area the suit is filed in, do you think he could possibly know this particular judge? I don't know many lawyers who are friendly with judges. That's very possible, but if he did know this judge, he probably wouldn't be filing his motions on 45-line paper when her standing order says 26-line paper, because it's like there's things that are disrespectful in different realms. And I don't know, for me, as a female attorney, there are things that male attorneys do sometimes that feel disrespectful. I'm like, would you do this if I was a dude? Like, there's times when I hear Taylor Swift's like, If I Were the Man song in my head, and I was like, are you just rude or are you just rude to me? There's times you can't tell. So if you know a judge, you would be, I think, a little more conscientious of that judge and respectful. And we know there's things that are rude on YouTube. There's like etiquette to each space that you're in, and the etiquette here is not being adhered to. So, do you think they could subpoena you? I don't know for what. But if anything comes forward with the cyber stuff, possibly. With regard to this case, I don't know, because I don't really have any information other than the things I talked to y'all about. The only information I have that tangentially relates to this case is what I've experienced with regard to the cyber harassment and regard to threats that I've received, because they've all specified this case and a party in this case particularly. Question: if Brown is hired on a limited basis, could this just be him wanting to answer to the jurisdiction? But Mary, it could be, but why waste the money to go through all the hoops to do all the motions with regard to jurisdiction, only to then say, forget about it? You know, I want to sweep some more questions with regard to this case specifically. And then, Jax, I absolutely want to answer this question about how I feel about Tiger King not getting a pardon, because I've covered some of his cases and I do have thoughts. But I want to finish these topical questions and then I'll get to that before I move on, because as we move on topics, I'm trying to keep so that people who are watching by timestamp can just see the shit that they want to see. We are at 4,000 law nerds almost up in this chat. If you guys aren't subscribed, can you do that? Because it'd be really fun to hit 80K on stream. Like, just for, it's been a long week, you guys. There's been threats on the Twitter. Do I expect a gag order? Marissa, it would be a really easy way for the judge to get this all to calm down. Do I think all the parties would be capable of adhering to a gag order? I don't know. But a gag order really just keeps the parties from speaking about the case. And what I see from this case is that Salty mostly responds to A, things people bring up on Twitter, and B, things that she says. And not really anything outside that. But the judge could actually absolutely say, we're not doing this. The judge could also put the Twitter accounts in control, or the social media accounts in control of KJ's lawyer. The other courts have done that. We talked about that in the Hayley Paige case. They're like, look, you're giving your accounts over to this person. That could absolutely happen. They could give, if this is an issue, they could give social account control to the attorney. So, DR said, I respectfully disagree. I love a good respectful disagree. Always here for a chat. KJ's lawyer should know that, but it doesn't guarantee that he does know. The thing about being a lawyer, though, there are things like if your client is paying you to argue jurisdiction and that's your case strategy, then you should know if you're doing something that could harm that strategy. So we're gonna pour some more out for the peoples. And let's see. I'm gonna get some question. Did you see that this is the same judge on the Parler versus Amazon case? I did. I have not had a chance to read her decision with regard to the Parler versus Amazon case, but I'm interested to see her reasoning on that case. It's my understanding that this judge has a very strong background when it comes to technology and cyber things. JOK. Hello, JOK. Do you think that KJ's team is just stalling to buy time? It wouldn't surprise me if KJ fires her attorney to buy more time. The problem with stalling first, anything's possible. But the problem with stalling to buy more time is it costs you money. So you're actually just burning money in your case when you could be starting discovery. So whether it could be a strategy or not, I don't know why it would be. And if the attorney is hired for a limited purpose, meaning only until we get past these initial motions, then that would make more sense to me, because then they're out. They're out after these jurisdictional motions are done. So maybe it's just, well, I'm out after this anyway, so I'm doing what my client asks, and that's it. So let's keep going. I don't know why I'm singing. Question: I feel like the defense is attempting to make a legal argument from an ethical question. What do you think? It just depends. I see some of that for sure. I don't understand. And the reasoning is not super clear to me on why they asked for this latest OSC. It really just doesn't. Question: is the fact that he is normally responding to KJ likely to make it harder for them to go after Saltsy? They can't, well, anyone can do anything. They can absolutely try to go after Saltsy and try. I mean, we saw in the Lorianne declaration, she said they were trying to get me to make bar complaints, or she said they were trying to make make bar complaints about Saltsy. So it seems like they definitely want to go after him for whatever reason. So far, what I have witnessed hasn't seemed anything that's outside of the bounds of ethics of what he's allowed to do to gather evidence and respond in the case. So we will just see. I think the thing that's harder for them to go after Saltsy is that litigation privilege covers quite a lot. And if she had said nothing in this case, he would have had no real grounds to say anything in this case. So if she did not talk about this case at all going forward, he would have no grounds to say, well, I'm legitimately commenting on the case. Because also people on Twitter wouldn't be commenting on the case and saying, did you see this? Which sometimes is what he's responding to. So I'm going to sweep these real quick, and then we're going to go forward. Question: could it be that KJ only wanted to gain some time with the jurisdiction fight so she can find a way to go around the defamation case? Alejandra, I completely understand your question, but we're going to be at least, I mean, when I look at this case, I see this as at least a year in discovery. So it's not like there is time there to build your cases when you get into the discovery process, which is where, in my opinion, a lot of the money should be spent. So stalling for time early in litigation can end up being quite costly. It is something that you see in litigation, but normally when you have the money to be like, yeah, fuck it. Because what you don't want to do is run out of money towards the trial part, because the trial part is the most important part. And if you think that this case is speeding towards trial on a fucking freight train, maybe because you've taunted people on the internet about the fact that they're never going to sue you, and they probably are unlikely to be inclined to settle with you because you've taunted them on the internet and tried to make complaints about them and all the other stuff, trial is where the money should be spent. So speeding towards discovery is where you want to go if you want to keep the cost of litigation as low as possible. So, Emily, is there a chance you will be called to testify? I mean, I have nothing to add to the defamation stuff, only with regard to any cyber stuff. Is it possible? Yes. I mean, I have no firsthand knowledge of any of the defamation stuff. So when we get into this defamation trial, and by we, I mean royal we, us, the law nerds who are following this case, then when that comes up, I have nothing to add to the defamation stuff. Most of that's in video. So can I talk about the cyber stuff that's gone on with me that's tangentially related to this case? It just depends on what happens going forward with that. How long does a cyber investigation typically take? It depends on what they find, how long IPs were bounced. It really, really, really depends. So, all right, you guys, when I say I am tired of this topic, I am so tired of this topic. I saw you guys responding to Adam McIntyre. I didn't see him in the chat. Adam, good to see you. I didn't see you in the chat, but good to see you. We are trying, Adam has been crushing it over on his channel. And so coverage of all the stuff going down. Peter's been covering it. Adam's been covering it. I love it. So Megan, this is a great question. The more shit that happens in court, the more they cost. And the longer they go on, the more they cost. This could very easily, we're in the hundreds of thousands of dollars range, but this could easily top $500,000 in this lawsuit for sure. So that's where we're at. Jake's Baby Cakes, thank you for the check-in. You guys, we're at 79.8 thousand subs. We have 4,000 people in here. We will figure out what I will do when we get to 80K, but I still owe you guys the 69K video, but when we get to 80K, you guys, A, we're closer to purple hair. B, it's exciting. C, my kid didn't think I would hit it today. What up, buddy? Thank you for popping into the live stream to say hi. Good to see you. I hear my kids talking because I know they want to come out and say hello. And I'm like, no, it's still mommy's time, because I will get distracted and then we'll never finish anything. Okay. So I said we were moving on. Don't forget to hit the subscribe. We're trying to get to 80K tonight. Like buttons and stuff too, for sure. I wanted to talk about, yeah, come on in and say hi, guys. If you want to come in and say hi, apparently they feel very strongly about coming in to say hi. So yes, it's fine. I really do want to talk about voice memos and sharing voice memos, because I know it's coming up right now in, Dramageddon 4, Return of the Trish. Though I like Trishageddon, I like Dramageddon 4, Return of the Trish. And then we're going to talk about the other things. So let's talk about that first, voice memos. So when it comes to things like voice memos, emails, text messages, those types of things are generally not confidential communications unless there is a confidential relationship that is underlying it, or there's an express agreement that it's confidential. So like somebody emailing their attorney, between the two, they're agreeing that those communications are confidential unless the person shares it, not the attorney. The person shares it, then it's not confidential anymore. So when it comes to things like voice memos, text messages, photos that are shared, all of that, it's not a confidential communication. So in California, because I've seen this come up with everything going down with Dramageddon 4, Return of the Trish, can those voice memos be shared? When you're sharing a voice memo, it's like sending a picture or sending a text. There's no expectation in privacy there. And so under things like the California laws about dual party consent for recording, you'll hear that when a bank is saying, do we have the authority to record the conversation? And the other person says yes. That's recording a phone call. You don't generally expect a phone call or a confidential conversation to be recorded. So you have to consent to record. There are a very few exceptions. We're not getting into legal advice. There are very few exceptions to that with regards to safety. But do not rely on exceptions without talking to an attorney. I'm just saying. But a voice memo is like a text. Anyone can pull up their text and just be like, hey, this is what was on my text. That was my cat. Yes, my beloved cat is the screensaver on my phone. Anyway, you can screenshot a text. You can share a text. Like the things that you do and communicate with other people are not confidential. You're communicating it to another person that you don't have a confidential relationship with. A lot of people communicate by voice memo. Those things can still be saved and shared the way a text message can, the way a photo can. The only time sharing a photo becomes like in the realms of illegal is in the like scope of revenge P word, because Emily likes to be monetized most of the time. And we'll do a whole nother conversation about that. It will come up at some point in this channel again, where people are sharing things that they shouldn't be sharing. But a general conversation, you can share it. An email, you can generally share it unless it's supposed to be confidential and both parties agreed that it was going to be confidential. If you're working with a business that you're building a business relationship with and there's an NDA, that's different than if somebody emails you and is like, hey, you keep talking about this case. Maybe you should shut up because you shouldn't be talking about this. Like those can be shared publicly because there's no confidential relationship or expectation of privacy. Just like if you have a voice memo that someone shared with you and it was sent to you, you can share it. Or if it was given to you by someone who it was sent to and they gave you consent, they can share it. So I know Peter and I had that conversation today, and I wanted to have that conversation here because know that the conversations you have are not necessarily private. If you need to have a private conversation, ask the other person. I'm asking that this is a confidential conversation and have it on the phone. I know. I'm controversial. Have a phone call. Have a phone call. Phone calls generally shouldn't be and can't be recorded. You generally need to be told if they are recorded. I talked on Instagram today, if you don't follow me there, at the Emily D. Baker, but I talked about like three-way phone bombing, like Mean Girls 90s style. Generally, phone calls aren't recorded, but a voice memo, a text message is just like me saying, oh my God, you guys. So I had this conversation the other day with like my girl, Abby, and she was saying like, blah, 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 blah. And then I said like, oh my God, no way, blah, 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 blah. There's nothing to stop me from retelling you a conversation that I had. And it's the same with a text or a voice memo. I feel like I've hit that conversation. I'm going to see if there's any questions about that, and we will go. What about one-party states like Georgia? One-party states, only one party needs to consent to the recording. So that's that. I don't love a one-party state, but you can always ask, is this being recorded if you are concerned? Does this also include email or text conversations? I think I answered that, so yes. What about when you get emails or faxes sent to someone else saying to delete, etc., if you're not the party? If they give it to me, is it mine? Marissa, it depends on the context because there are rules regarding you not being the intended receiver and there being a glitch. So there are rules about that, and it just depends on where you live. I know, Diva, I know. Who even talks on the phone anymore? Me. Me sometimes. Because look, when Peter Mom's like, hey, can we have a chat? I'm like, yes, please. Yes, please, we can have a chat. Of course we can have a chat. My husband has never sent an email in his life. What? Classy mom. That's some shit right there. There's tea. I mean, phone calls are great. Phone calls are absolutely great. Phone calls, you have inflection, you have tone, you have understanding. In the lawyer sphere, there is generally a phone call and then an email follow-up that says, per our phone call, this shit. And then it's like, it commemorates the phone call. So then there is an understanding of what was on the phone call in case the parties disagree. So there's times in litigation where email and a paper trail is best, especially if you don't trust the other side all the way. So you would have that phone call and then you would commemorate the phone call in an email saying like, we need to make sure we're all on the same page about this. I think a lot of people love voice memos because on most phones, the voice memos, you hear them and they disappear. I like using Voxer because it is also voice. I also like voice more than I like text. So something like Voxer allows you to do that. Danny says, am I the only person who talks on the phone because I get paid to? Call me outside of business hours and about it. Nah, text me. Danny, I get it. I get not wanting to talk on the phone because if you're on the phone all day at work, when I was doing trial work, I definitely didn't want to be on the phone all the time because I would just get really tired. Yeah, Maria, that Kim recording Kanye and Taylor Swift's phone call shouldn't have happened and shouldn't have been released. Taylor didn't choose to pursue it. So I think that having to disclose recording of a phone call or even recording of a Zoom should be nationally required. Again, controversial. But if you're recording a Zoom call, say, we're recording this Zoom call. If you're recording a phone call, say, we're recording this phone call. Let people know they're being recorded. There are exceptions to that and exceptions of safety in certain cases, but generally, absolutely. I get that, Bella Marie. I have Bella Memory. I get that. And I have friends like that too. But also then it's like, okay, I know that the things I text, knowledge is what it is. I know that the things I text can be shared. But again, the things you say can be shared because we've heard that, like from Peter Mon, we've absolutely heard this, that, hey, this is the conversation I have with Gabby Hanna. I'm telling you my conversation. So question, we were trained to prepare memos to file after phone calls as a matter of course. Does that not happen anymore? Anna, memos filed after phone calls don't always happen. They're normally memorialized in an email if need be. And a lot of businesses have that practice where they're just memorialized in an email. So, Teresa Bond, with your voice, I would like voicemail better, but with my voice, it's text all the way. I do a lot of voice to text, but voice to text is not always good. Voice to text doesn't always like strictly get me. Question on Zoom calls for my class. It notifies me on a pop-up if it's being recorded. Does that qualify for notifying? Yes, it does. It does notify because you're made aware. So being made aware is the important thing. What I don't like is if somebody was like screen recording it on one end and you weren't made aware. I don't think that's okay at all. When you say Abby, when you say Abby in reference to hypothetical convo, you're a friend in my head. Abby, I hope to be a friend in your head, and I love it. Sinister Moon says, my voice always seems too tired and weak, mostly because I don't use it much. Freaks my mother out every time she hears it. No, breathe deep. Use your voice. Use your voice. Use your voice. Holly said this live stream is like a party and I'm living for it. I mean, that was the vibe for tonight. Honestly, it's been a long fucking week. We had some topics we needed to just bang through. We needed to get to it. I've gotten a lot of questions on social this week and I'm like, it's time to just answer some questions about all of this stuff. So that's what we're doing. I have seen a lot of my train of thought just literally like veered at the station and took another track. And I have no idea what I was going to say. So that's what it is. So cheers. That's what we get some evenings when we drink on the live stream. Hi, Dad. It's been a long week. I've been getting a lot of questions on social media. So I really wanted to get into answering some questions. So Mila asks a great question. We're closer to 80. Are we closer to 80K? I haven't looked at the back. I've been looking at this and it hasn't flipped over yet. So if you guys want to take a look, it should show, yes, we are closer to 80K on back end analytics. We are getting very close to 80K. So of the 4,000 of you that are watching, go ahead and subscribe. We'll wait for the class. I can see the back end analytics, y'all. I can see if it's happening. I see you. If you are not subscribed, we're getting to 80K. Oh, and some of you have listened. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Moving on. Everybody's like 79.8 is what I see. We're cruising to 79.9. All right. Question. Did you see my yellow palette cleanser up above? I did not. I am sorry. I missed it. We're going to get into court of public opinion soon. But we need to talk majority stuff. Is it return or rise of the Trish? Oh, BSC. This is a fantastic question. It might be rise of the Trish. It might be like rise, Trish, rise. Should that be the court of public opinion tonight? What do we call Dramageddon for? No, I'm teasing. Kind of. I'll put that. I'm leaving that to the drama channels. What to title Dramageddon for? Return of the Trish, rise of the Trish. I like rise of the Trish. It's good though, for sure. ACQ Critter Zone. I made it work. I was like, I don't think I can pronounce that. I'm like, we've got this. Question, how important do you think going to a top law school is to being successful? Not very, to be perfectly fucking honest. We've been drinking this evening. We're going to just spill the tea on law school. Let's just spill the tea for a minute, and then we're going to talk about Erica Girardi. And then we're going to talk about I had something else. Oh, see? It flipped over. It finally hit 79.8. And then, yes, Girardi. And then we're going to get into Court of Public Opinion. Oh, and then Tiger King. Did you hear me say Lion King? I'm a child. How important do I think it is going to a top 10 law school to be successful? Going to a top 10 law school does not mean you're smarter than any other motherfucker out there that goes to law school. Here's what going to a top 10 law school generally means. Spoken from someone who did not go to a top 10 law school. It means that you either had the family connections or the money to go to the proper high school, to get into the proper college, to get into said proper law school. Or you worked your motherfucking ass off to get into a top 10 law school and then busted your ass with debt because of that top 10 law school. Top 10 law schools notoriously are not academically as rigorous as some of the other tiered law schools because they don't grade on the same curves, because people are being groomed to be in positions of power and prestige. So if you want to clerk for the Supreme Court, then a top 10 law school is very important. If you just want to be a good lawyer, the skills that you learn going to law school are the most important. A lot of attorneys know that going to a top 10 law school, yes, it can put you in job contentions that you might not early on have access to. But if you want to be like an LA County district attorney, when we worked in the summer, there were a handful of law schools that regularly had students that became district attorneys and judges. Those law schools weren't Harvard and Yale. So then you get some kid from Harvard like, I go to Harvard. My dad owns a company, and my mom's head of litigation for Forever 21, and I'm never going to be a DA. Like, I'm just going to go into corporate law, like wherever my mom wants me to go work, but I'll get paid like, 20 grand next summer and stuff. It's cool, but I needed some like in court experience. So I'm here for the summer, and everybody's like, goodbye. We don't want to talk to you or go to lunch with you, and you're very annoying. But I find that kids who go to non-top tier do so either for financial reasons, for LSAT reasons, or for accessibility reasons. I don't think it makes them less successful. I think the scrappier the attorney, the better. And I've met fantastic lawyers that have gone to very prestigious law schools, and I've met fantastic lawyers that have not. My law school, so I transferred law schools, which is a whole different situation. But the law school I went to is not a top 10 law school by any means. But regularly, the judges I worked for were like, oh, wait, you go to like USC. I'm like, no. A, money. B, access. C, learning disabled grades and test scores. And my judge was constantly like, no, but you do your research like somebody who goes to USC. I'm like, right. That's just my brain. So he was always shading my law school without meaning to shade my law school, because it surprised him so much that is not the caliber of law school that I went to. So is what it is. Renee asked if I will be doing the Sidney Powell Dominion case. I mean, how much more defamation do we want to talk about? Yes. I mean, her versus Dominion, or like Dominion versus her. I will have to do one. I also want to talk about Candace Owens versus the fact checkers, because I'm fascinated. But we have a few things we have to do first on this channel, and that includes the Girardis. Because oh my fucking God. Oh my God. And I'm behind on my ASMR recordings. So we have lots to catch up with. So the Girardi updates. I have seen that Erica Jane has moved somewhere new. Here's the thing. If Erica Jane moved somewhere new, it looks like it was probably before the divorce filing and before the bankruptcy, the forced bankruptcy. It looks like she probably moved well before then. And what I've seen from the channels that cover Bravo is there was indication that she moved out from Tom Girardi, from their home, the big home, a while back. So I don't think she moved contemporaneously because the bankruptcy court would have had to deal with it. So, Celine said, I went to a top 10 med school and judging by my colleagues, it's no guarantee you'll kick butt. It's very, very, very fair. I find that people that go to the not top name prestige tend to develop a little bit of scrap because they've been fighting for it. The kids, for law particularly, the kids who school always came easy for haven't always, this isn't meant as shade, but haven't always developed the same grit and grit that kids who school didn't come easy for developed. And the reason that the kids who school doesn't come easy for develop grit is because they have to fight for what they get. And so when a judge comes down on them, it doesn't really devastate you. It's just like, oh, moving on, you know? So I think it is a fantastic reminder. Look, the title of your school doesn't make you smarter. It means that you had the access to get into that school. But it's also the same thing, like wearing Gucci sneakers doesn't make you a good person. The caliber of your school might open some doors, but it's what you do with it. Just like if you go to a school that's not tiered as high and are smart and kick ass, professionals in the field will recognize it. I have always found it's much more interesting who passes the bar and when, because I've seen lots of people from top tier law schools not pass the California bar on the first, second, or third time. Stacy said, I went to a night law school, nothing fancy, but I still have ESQ after my name, just like they do. Exactly. And Stacy, you probably kick ass at your job because you give a shit about it. And it didn't all just come easy, or you didn't go to law school because it's the law school your dad and your great grandfather also went to. And my family doesn't have a legacy of law at all. I mean, my dad and mom weren't attorneys. It was new to me. I'm the first lawyer on like our immediate side. My aunt and uncle are lawyers, but it just is. All right. Yes, this to Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Yes, that. Ringo is still in my hopper because that was for $69,000. So Ringo is still getting done. It's going to be a Law Nerds After Dark. It is going to be, I'm not even going to try to monetize it because I can't monetize the Ringo Starr case because we're going to be talking about adulty things. Olivia said, can I just say that the video that Shane and Trisha deleted is going around and it is not a good look for Trish or Shane. It was a Q&A with the two of them and a 16-year-old. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. But I'm sure, of course it's going around. My motto for law school, y'all may be smarter than me, but I can outwork every single one of you. Totally agree with you, Emily. Same. And that when it comes down to working as a lawyer, being able to work matters. Oh, my dad is in the chat throwing shade. Dad. Throwing shade. Who failed the bar 4 times after going to UCLA? Chat, you'll get points if you know the answer to that. Throwing shade up in my chat. Dad, I know who it is. Let's see if the chat knows who it is. But yeah, being able to work your way around problems and being able to work through problems and being not emotionally crushed when shit gets hard is very, very important. And yes, JOK, the chat will fill you in. We are very close to 80K. Let's look at the backend analytics. We are very close. So if you guys are watching at 4,000 people watching, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and subscribe. Cherie. Ding, 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 ding. Cherie wins. Yes, it was Villaraigosa. And he never did pass the bar. So that was it. JFK Jr. Nope. I love that you guys are like Hillary Clinton. Nope. I don't think she ever tried to take the California bar. I actually think whatever you guys want to say about Hillary Clinton, fair, but I don't think she is a dumb attorney. I think she is a very clever attorney. And somebody was saying Shane, the husband in Real Housewives, I don't think he went to UCLA, but he has taken the bar quite a few times from my remembrance. We've like segued into law so hard. Earl says, Emily, I heard the bar exam for California is the hardest exam to pass in the country. Is that true? Yes, it's true. It is the hardest to pass in the entire country. They're trying to make it easier, and they have been making it easier, but yes, it is still the hardest to pass. I'm very, very interested to see what goes down when Kim Kardashian takes the California bar. I'm very curious. But yes, Shane, Emily's husband on Real Housewives, has not passed the bar exam. I think he's taken it 3 or 4 times. So the California bar is hard. It is true. And when I took it, it was a 3-day bar exam. I had surgery that summer, like 2 weeks before I took the bar exam. It was a lot. Okay. Erica Girardi. I think, closed loop. I took it. I passed it the first time I took it. And I've told that story. I will post it down here. I told that story on Instagram when we hit 10,000 followers, about the night I passed the bar exam. And I'll post the link to that Instagram, that's in my Instagram stories, my IGTV here. So Erica Girardi, it looks like she has a home or apartment. It looks to me from all of the Bravo reporting that was done well before all of this went down, that she has not lived with Tom for a while. It's all being reported because her address was put on new filings. The new filings are Edelman PC. Edelman PC is the law firm that was co-counsel with Girardi Keese in the Lion Air Boeing airline disaster that threw this case, in my opinion, into the spotlight. They filed in the bankruptcy court contesting the allegations that he needed a conservator. I will link the conservatorship breakdown video that I did when I read the brother's declaration saying that Tom is suffering from short-term memory loss and things like that. Edelman PC is like, fuck no, we ain't doing this. What is happening is that the brother is saying, no, he's not able to make decisions, blah, 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 blah. So with that, on Wednesday, because we're at an hour and 20 minutes, and I really do want to get into the court of public opinion, on Wednesday, I'm going to do a Girardi breakdown covering, and I've been saying this for weeks, and then shit keeps getting filed in other cases, and I need everyone to have some chill with the other cases. And we're not going to get any chill next week because there's going to be 2 new filings in the KJ case next week. But I'm going to pre-record it so it doesn't get bumped, and I'm going to pre-record the Ringo case. So Tom Girardi's prior law partners, including his son-in-law, have filed declarations that we're going to break down, and we're going to break down the Edelson PC objection to the seeking appointment of a, not really a conservator, but of a guardian ad litem for Tom Girardi. They're saying, no. He's lucid. These are the engagements we've had with him. There's no doctor declaration yet with regard to Tom Girardi, and with regard to Erica Girardi, I think she moved out long before she filed for divorce. So yes. Okay. Living Sweetly, Emily had to quickly dash into work today, making a long story short, your facts not fuckery t-shirt got 2 thumbs up, a huge smile, and an I concur from one of the most miserable judges we have. I love that. There was a day, Living Sweetly, where back in the day I had a Tervis mug, and those are the mugs that will have things in the front of the mug and whatever. But I had a Honey Badger Don't Give a Shit Tervis mug from the 2006 YouTube viral video that I actually talked about in a video on this channel. I'll have to figure out which one. When I talked about owning your intellectual property, and his video went viral. I think I talked about it with Christine Snaps. Oh, in the chat, will you guys let me know how much you loved having her on? I loved having her on. So with that going viral, he only trademarked some of it. Anyway, he licensed out Honey Badger Don't Give a Shit. And I ran into court one morning, just before I just went for the neutral Starbucks cup with my Honey Badger Don't Give a Shit. And the judge was like, Miss Baker. And I'm like, what? And he's like, are you trying to tell me something? And I'm like, no. It was in my office. I need water. Sorry, Your Honor. All right. 4,000 friends watching this live. If you haven't subbed, go ahead and sub. We're at 79,889 on the back end analytics. So go ahead and subscribe. We're trying to get to 80,000. Who's the lawyer lady from Real Housewives of New Jersey again? Is there a lawyer lady on Real Housewives of New Jersey? There's a woman whose husband got disbarred. No, ex got disbarred on Real Housewives of New Jersey, but on Orange County, Emily is a lawyer. Her husband, Shane, has been trying to pass the California bar exam. I have feelings about Shane. We don't need to get into it. I have thoughts. Thank you. Somebody wait. I really enjoyed the Christine Snaps interview. Thank you guys for so much love. I loved it. I really do want to talk to other creators about like the business of being a creator and just their lives, and bring a few more interviews to this channel. So I just loved it. Yes, we did talk about it with Christine Tuesday with Honey Badger. I really enjoyed it too. I'm so glad you guys loved it. So. We need to get to Tiger King. And if y'all are watching on Facebook, hi. If you want to come over to YouTube real quick, just like youtube.com/user/Emily D. Baker, or watchemily.com. We'll put it in I'll put it in the chat because then it'll go there. Just come over and subscribe real quick because we really want to get to 80,000 tonight. Mostly because my kiddo, no, wrong link. Damn it. Sorry. I meant to put watchemily.com. Disregard. Disregard that. If you guys have a YouTube account and you want to come subscribe, come do it. You guys asked me about the Tiger King pardon. I remember things, mostly because A, you asked, and B, the mods put it in the chat for me. Could we just get a shout out to the mods and how great they are? You guys are all about doing an interview with Peter Mama. I'll totally have Peter Mama on to come chat. He's amazing. I don't know if he has time between his 7,000 channels, and I want to go on Adam's channel too and have a chat. So you guys asked me about the Tiger King pardon. Here's my thoughts. What would have been hard? Okay. So for everyone who's not familiar with Tiger King, hold on, let me pull up Twitter real quick because he tweeted about it, which I don't know how he has Twitter in prison, but I have covered the Tiger King cases. I, like everyone else at the beginning of the pandemic, got sucked so far into the Tiger King series that I could not stop. And my husband's like, what in the ever-loving fuck are you watching it? Oh, I'm sorry. Something just popped up on Twitter that's fascinating. This is going to be a new topic. Let me just show you what just popped off on Twitter. I feel personally invested in this story. I haven't even read the story. I've only seen the headline. Gizmodo is saying this is from 8:31 p.m. So this is now. FTC finds ticket brokers $3.7 million in a scalping settlement. A, the FTC's fucking sassy. B, fuck ticket scalpers. They make concerts so miserable. It makes it so hard to go see the Dave Matthews Band, fucking ticket scalpers. So good on you, FTC, for getting in there. We're going to be talking about that too, because fuck ticket scalpers. They piss me off so much. But I didn't go in there to do that. Sorry. That it just squirrel. We're talking about Joe Exotic. So, for those of you that don't know Tiger King, it was a Netflix documentary. It kind of took the world by storm. It was a train wreck that was hard to look away from. He breeds tigers in a way that I think probably violates the law, and seeing the fact that he is in federal prison means that they agreed. But with regard to Joe Exotic and his big personality and the Tiger King and all the things, there was actually a murderous conspiracy. And he was convicted of solicitation of murder for trying to kill Carol Baskin, who may or may not have killed her husband, Carol Baskin. And then she was on Dancing with the Stars. And then the family of the dead husband, y'all tea. If you didn't watch this and you didn't know this, when she was on Dancing with the Stars in Florida, the family of her deceased husband, I guess she would have been a widow, not an ex, but her deceased husband took out ads about him during Dancing with the Stars, knowing that the Tiger King series strongly alluded to the fact that maybe Carol Baskin killed her husband, because Joe Exotic kept saying that she literally killed her husband. Joe Exotic said. It's alleged, not proved, but Joe Exotic said she killed her husband, put him in the meat grinder, and fed him to tigers. That's the tea from Joe Exotic, not proven. But then the sheriffs reopened the case after the Netflix documentary aired. It was wild. But then she also sued. A lot happened. I will break down the Tiger King lawsuits. Carole Baskin won the rights to his zoo. But anyway, he was prosecuted for the conspiracy to commit murder. She was not killed. She was on Dancing with the Stars, just to make that clear. She's like, hey, cool cats and kittens. If you haven't watched Tiger King, watch Tiger King. Watch Tiger King. Just watch Tiger King. Just watch Tiger King. Adam McIntyre, thank you so much. We're 100 besties away from 80K. I watched Adam hit, was it 400,000 on stream that I watched you hit? It was really a fun moment. So Joe Exotic was hoping for a pardon, and I was tweeting about it. He had a limo. There was this massive limo at his attorney's office, and I'm going to pull that up on Twitter because Twitter shenanigans. And then he made statements about not getting pardoned. I believe when I looked at the pardons list and looked at the crimes that were committed, I believe that he didn't get pardoned because of the conspiracy to commit murder charges. If it had just been the animal rights violations, he might have, but this was the reporter who shared the limo waiting for Joe Exotic to be exonerated by Donald Trump. So they door open and shit. And also kind of like a Tesla style door. What? They fully expected that he would be exonerated. He was not exonerated. And then he made a statement about that. And so we're going to pull up his statement. I believe he wasn't exonerated because of the conspiracy to commit murder charges. The conspiracy to commit murder charges are, fucking bad. So I think because he had been convicted and put in prison fairly recently, because it was a violent charge, that he wasn't granted a pardon. But he made a statement about it on Twitter, and this is what he said. He said, I was too innocent and too gay to deserve a pardon from Trump. I only mattered to Don Jr. when he needed to make a comment about me to boost his social media post. Boy, were we all stupid to believe he actually stood for equal justice. His corrupt friends all came first. So that's how he feels about it. I think the conspiracy to commit murder charges were probably the problem there. I also would imagine that the people who were taking out ads, or that Carole Baskin's people were saying, you cannot let this man out. He was just recently convicted. But yes, Trump did pardon. He did pardon other people who had been convicted of violent crimes. But a lot of the late night, the last day pardons, were for drug offenses, weapons offenses, and things like that. So Joe Exotic has very strong feelings about not being pardoned. I think he wasn't pardoned because of the recency of the conviction and the conspiracy to commit murder. I think that there's probably also concerns about the animal breeding and maybe making sure that it's well known, though he did pardon somebody else who was involved in the animal trade. So we will see what politics came into play with Joe Exotic not being pardoned. I don't know if we'll ever know. Maybe someone will tell us. I don't think it's because he's too gay. He says that's what it is. I don't think it was. So, all right. Gene Mechanic, though we are not addressing politics because it is a very chill stream and I'm very happy not to be talking about politics. Why did Trump pardon people before he stepped down? All presidents do that. They all do pardons on their last day. They are petitioned throughout their presidency and they do pardons throughout their presidency, but they all do pardons on their last day. That is kind of standard operating procedure, and that's what it is. I didn't watch Tiger King, but what did Joe Exotic have against Carole? There's an entire series that goes into it called Tiger King. Question, what are your thoughts on why he didn't pardon Julian Assange? I think there was probably some political wrangling that went on his last day that we may never know about. So I think that's what it was. Got the hubby to sub from his patrol car and his partner as well. Willow, thank you. And a huge shout out to your husband and his partner while they are on duty. Let's see where we're at. We are at, let me refresh. We are at on the back end. Oh, we're close. We're close. Keep subbing. Keep subbing. Are you guys ready we're almost ready for a court of public opinion. Let me sweep the questions and then get into sweep the questions and then get into court of public opinion. And then I'm going to go eat dinner. I have modified my opinion. Club sandwiches are lasagna. But is lasagna a sandwich? I guess we're not doing food tonight. By the by, we're not doing food tonight. Court of public opinion tonight is not food. Is not food. I'm gonna go see if I sweep some questions and then get into court of public opinion. I love just doing a Q&A stream with 4,000 of my closest friends. It is just so nice. I don't know why my computer is making noise. I hope you don't hear that. Lori, this is also a very fair point. Will not watch Tiger King. He abused animals, starved them, did not have a vet. You cannot breed wild animals and then steal the baby from the mother for petting zoo. So wrong. Lori, you make an excellent point. You make an absolutely excellent point. There are some very hard truths in Tiger King for sure. I don't know if Joe Exotic is making money off of Tiger King. I imagine he's making some, but I completely agree with you. It is horrific. I was unaware of the level that big cat breeding was at in the United States until watching Tiger King. It was something I was not well educated on, and it was wild. So it was wild. Also, I changed my watch back to my pride face because JoJo Siwa came out today, and I posted about it on Twitter. I had two thoughts. I was of mixed mind, so I'm going to share that with you. One, I think it's awesome that she came out. I think she helps. This is what happens when we talk at the end of the stream after we've had drinks. I hope she helps other LGBTQ youths feel more comfortable and more confident in being open and honest with who they are. But also, she's not 18 yet, and talking about the sexuality of teenagers always is like, but I'm old. So I'm like, I don't need to know. But I also hope she makes other teens feel less alone. I think the fact that it was like what JoJo Siwa's sexuality was trending on Twitter was a thing that I was like, I get it, but also I don't know if I want to talk about the sexuality of someone under the age of 18, but also I know that gives confidence and pride and a sense of being seen to other youths, which I love. So that's where I was of two minds on it, where I was just like, yay for JoJo, but also she's under 18. So I'm just like, I was of mixed minds with regard to JoJo Siwa, but I'm very happy for her. People were saying she hasn't confirmed. I'm going to just share what I shared on Twitter because it read like a confirmation to me in 3 of her tweets. So that is where I'm going with that. I don't know how much more clear she could be. And this is from Def Noodles on Twitter, but she's wearing a shirt that says best gay cousin ever. And it said, my cousin got me a new shirt. So her cousin is saying to her that JoJo Siwa is the best gay cousin ever. JoJo also posted a number of other tweets that kind of went along with that, including TikToks. So I am excited for her. I think that, again, I told you why I was of two mind. That's why. She is close to 18. She is for sure close to 18. And I hope that it gives others confidence in who they are. So I thought it was great. Hayley Paige update. We were going to do Hayley Paige questions, and then we just there's no update on Hayley Paige. I did a whole Wednesday on Hayley Paige, and we were going to ask questions, and then we just kept talking about stuff. But Hayley Paige won't have an update till the end of the month when they go to court. So that's what I'm expecting from Hayley Paige, but I will entertain questions. So Is JoJo Siwa the sister of 1990s heartthrob Devon Siwa? No, he's not. But if you follow Devon Siwa on Twitter, he's fucking hilarious on Twitter. And I know exactly who he is because he was in Idle Hands and all of the quite amazing. No, he was in the first 1 and 2 of the Final Destination movies. It took me a minute. 8 Happy Person said, I mean, teens. Oh, look, it updated. Finally. That says 79.9. Y'all, we're getting close. I mean, teens date. So it's just saying if she doesn't date someone, it'd be a girl. And that's really it. And I get it. I'm happy for her. I don't think she's related to Devon Siwa, though. But he is very funny on Twitter. I follow him on Twitter. I enjoy him. So, okay. I'm going to see if there's any other. I'm going to keep sweeping questions and then we're going to get to the court of public opinion. So, X10, this is a fantastic question. Employer copyright confuses me. Does that, I'm assuming you mean a tech company would have the IP rights to a book someone writes, or does that just cover code? Jumping off of my Instagram example. So here's the thing. Employers can own a lot of what their employees do. So if somebody wrote a book, if you're an employee and you create something in the course of your employment, so if it's in any way tangentially related, your employer can claim copyrights or ownership rights to it. I've worked with clients who have been working on side projects and books. You have to get it cleared by your employer so that you are allowed to do it and allowed to own the rights to it, but you generally have to run it by your employer. This happened with Mattel, with the developer of Bratz dolls, who was a Mattel employee and was like, no, the Bratz dolls are mine. And then it was like, no, you did that while you're working at Mattel. I know Google has very clear policies about this, about when you can work on things on your own time, but generally, it goes to the employer if it's in some way related to your employment. That's why they employ you, so that they own the work that you do. Grace Blazer, I completely agree with you. People know their sexuality earlier than we talk about. Because she's a public figure, it's the publicness of it. And talking about 17-year-olds in, like, do we need to know kids' sexual orientation? I mean, outside of their friends and family, but she's such a public figure. I'm sure it felt like her being true to herself and owning a part of herself and living authentically in the public eye. I wanted to share that I was of two minds of it and why I was of two minds of it. So that's what it is. And again, Jules, I agree with you. I wouldn't bat an eyelash about girls and boys going to dances together. And I think that, once again, as an adult, I'm like, I don't talk about teens dating either, but I also don't tend to cover people in that age group. So that's where, of my two minds, I was like, A, she's a public figure, so good for her for living in her authentic truth. But B, I also get weird having large public conversations about, maybe about teens and their sexuality in a pop culture-y way. So of two minds, but also congratulated her because she chose to share it. So it was, maybe it was just weird to me that it was trending on Twitter, but I guess that shouldn't be weird to me because it's kind of a big deal. I'm excited. I think it will bring a lot of welcoming to other teens, I hope. Okay, I'm going to look for questions and we'll go from there. So somebody I wanted to, Marissa S., I would love coming out to not be a thing or tea. Like, we should just start announcing our sexuality. Right. And I feel at some point, if we all stop assuming what other people's orientations are, then people won't have to announce their orientation. It'll just be like, oh, we don't assume one way or the other. So it's just like, you do you. I'm hoping we get to the you do you part of society quickly and sooner rather than later. Rebecca brought up a good point. I work for a publisher. We have to run it by our managers if we start working on a book while employed and allow the contracts team to look at it first to see if they want to purchase the rights. Exactly. And so with regard to being an employee, generally your intellectual property belongs to the employer. This was a big issue with AB5 in California with photographers and cartoonists and other creatives who were like, I don't want to be an employee. I want to be a contractor because I don't want you to own everything I do outside of employment. So it is getting way late. Let me see if there's any other questions. I am not well familiar with the Joe Malone situation, so I would have to look to let you know if I think it's similar. I have not seen any other questions about Hayley Paige. So it is time. 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 Oh, thank you, you guys. Clarification on Devon Sawa and Jojo Siwa. You guys, it's time for the court of public opinion. Do you guys like the new intro for the court of public opinion? It needed its own jam. The court of public opinion needed its own thing. Look, we are getting into deep controversy tonight with the court of public opinion. And the thing is, I feel like there's a right answer and not a right answer, but we're still throwing it open to the court of public opinion. Can we all just thank Tech Valor for that amazing court of public opinion stinger? I think it's a stinger. I love it. Court of public opinion, now in session. Here before you law nerds is the question that is deeply controversial and important to us during these pandemic times. I need you all to keep it classy and state the reasons for your belief. But when you hang toilet paper, does it go over or does it go under? These are the tests of any live-in relationship. You might not even know that people do it a different way until you move in with someone, at the age where you move in with someone, and then you go, oh my God, why are you doing this wrong? There is a proper way to hang the toilet paper, and people have very, very, very specific feelings. So tonight, I will absolutely put this poll up on Twitter, but I absolutely want to see what you guys think with regard to the toilet paper. And Sean Spencer's already jumping the shark here, Sean. Hold on. Oh, I thought I pulled up your comment and then the comments jumped. Sean Spencer was saying the patent says it goes over, already bringing the law to the matter. And the comments all just jumped so fast that it was hard to pull them all up. So I hope I will get to it. We have quite a lot of people. It goes over under as proof of severe psychotic tendencies. We are trying to just have respectful conversation. I want to know why you guys all think over. Just me doesn't care. You really don't care? Okay, do it the different way next time and tell me if you care. Over looks better, more hygienic. They do it over in hotels and then you can fold it over like a mullet. Always over. Mary coming in with the under. Good for you, Mary. Mary's like, we're fighting. Stephanie also says in the patent, it goes over. We are not monsters. Evie, this is less controversial than I thought it would be. I thought this would bring some high controversy, but no, y'all are like, no, smash it. It goes over. It goes on the side of the top. No, it hangs. Over, I have a preference, but don't care that much. Oh, no strong feelings about it. That's fair, Rose. Over because I use under, it unrolls too much. My husband is the opposite. So Firefighter wife, you guys have a split household. I want to know though, firefighter wife at the station, because we know firefighters spend a lot of their time there. Do they put it over or under? Because I bet they have a way. It's grabbable when they go over. So one of the arguments for under is that my cat couldn't unroll it the same way when it was under. But if it was over, she was just like, and in pandemic times, that would have been a problem. But, over, unless you're a heathen, over, easier to take off, fair, always over, under, just me sunshine, and yes, thank you, A66Y for the love for Tech Valor, coming with the fire on the intros and the stingers, over, because little people have issues with the TP. See, when I do it over in my house, the little people use too much toilet paper, which leads to the toilets being clogged. Under, no exception, tickled pink. Oh, Jen brought a new perspective to it. Beards are cool. Mullets are very uncool. So under, I guess, would be a beard is what I'm going with. Over because I'm not a heathen. Over is taking the early lead here. I don't care. Fair enough. Over because I'm short and I can't reach it. Under. I mean, Trish, that's fair. I don't know how far away the toilet paper is, but that's fair. We're putting this on Twitter this evening, you guys. If you don't follow me there, at the Emily D. Baker is where the poll's going to be. And then I'll put the poll up this weekend. I'm also going to attach an article from Inc. magazine talking about whether it should be over or under. Sean, there's your comment. The U.S. patent shows it over. Which type of lawyer, Little Red Star, to best look over a contract you mentioned reading in the Hayley Paige situation? Just somebody who's familiar with contracts. So a standard business attorney. You can call somebody and be like, hey, do you handle business or business litigation? And they should tell you, and then you can have them read a contract. Most attorneys should be able to read, break down, and explain a contract to you unless they tell you otherwise. And if they say, I practice in this very specific area and I only do this one thing, they will let you know. Over, unless you have a cat. See, cats wreck toilet paper when it's hung over, but they can't get as far away with it when it's underneath. So it does tear better when it's over. This is way less controversial than I thought it would be. You guys are just like, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Also, toilet paper is a rolled lasagna. I mean, if anyone's eating toilet paper and it tastes like lasagna, let me know. You guys, I don't understand. I don't care. Like, I have very strong feelings about this, but I also have very strong feelings about the proper way to load the dishwasher. So why do all of you know that the patent for toilet paper is to go a certain way? I want to know why you all know this. I love that you all know this, law nerds, but I also want to know why you have such specific knowledge about the patents regarding toilet paper. Or are you Googling as I'm talking? Instructions for the patent show it's over. Under because it tears over. Do the 5. There we go. Over, under if you have kids, over if you don't. That's fair. Over 100%. I say under because, yes, the original patent showed over, but now you have texture on one side of it. Lisa, this is an incredible point because depending on how the texture goes, you might want it to be under. Under, especially if you have kids and cats. I mean, kids and cats are definitely a strong argument for it. So it's definitely a strong argument for it. Over, toilet paper goes over. Y'all, this Twitter poll is going to be out of the... Here's what I like about going over. You can like fold it pretty. But I like the texture argument. Over so I can make the cute triangle. Amber, I feel you. That's a very strong reason for over. Cats will wreck it though. Cats will wreck the over for sure. I'm going to sweep some more of these. A lot of you have opinions. The patent was a while back. It sure was. And toilet paper has come a long way since the patent. The patent was a big story a few years ago. That's fair enough, Kelly. I did not pay attention. It was a huge thing when the patent went around on the socials. There we go, Young Fox. I missed the meme of the patent being a few years ago. When I polled you guys a few weeks ago about this one came up so many times that I wanted to ask. It stands on its side like a stack of books. I Do not like having the toilet paper standing. I like it rolling for sure. In over 30 years of having a cat in the household, only one of the dozen or so cats ever did the TP thing because Law Nerd knows trivia. I love that. My cat enjoyed ripping up TP. I loved my cat. My cat passed almost a year ago. She is in some of my very earliest YouTube videos. Albus was just the dearest cat ever. So she also very much enjoyed the toilet paper. For sure. We talked about this in Law LOL or LRAW. I don't know what LRAW is. I'm sorry. There are lots of good questions. I think toilet paper is easier to use if it goes over, but my aunt who has 4 boys wants it to go under because they make a huge mess when it goes under. The kid thing is a huge thing. My kids will take more toilet paper if you pull it from the top because it's just like, but then if it goes from the bottom, it literally slows their roll when it comes from the bottom. That is completely fair, iJazz Mom. It definitely is easier to pull from the top. My sons clog the toilet. We talked law. We definitely talked law. There was law talk. We just weren't topical talk. It was questions tonight. Do you wipe from the front or the back? That's the true debate. No, Courtney. No, that's not a debate when you're a lady. There's a proper way to do that. For dudes, it's different because there's like a barrier. But for ladies, there's like a way. My cat used to eat toilet paper. We had to take it off the holder because he has unveiled it no matter what and would eat it. That is a very, very fair reason to put it on its side and put it somewhere else. Offer, am under, but we'll change it if we hit 80K. Let me go into the back end of, you guys can all refresh. Have you guys been subscribing? Because let me go into the back end of my channel analytics and refresh it. Oh, you guys, back end channel analytics shows 80,005 subscribers on the back end of the channel analytics. So it should update on the front end shortly. You guys, we did it. We hit 80K tonight on stream. And we had a chit chat. It was a good night for a chit chat stream. We're going to do some deep dives next week, and we've got more motions that are going to file next week. We needed a Law Nerds chat this evening. Had a fight with. I mean, the thing is, if you feel strongly about having it one way, having it the other way is confusing. If I'm at someone's house and I see their toilet paper is under, I fix it for them. Can't help it, Jen Gerard. But if people feel strongly about it being under, then they go back in their bathroom and they're like, what just happened? Or maybe they change their minds. Did any of you guys change your minds about cereal? Did any of you try milk first that don't normally do milk first? I'm very curious. It feels like everybody feels the same way. Thank you, Tech Valor. I appreciate it. Carolyn Pierce, I did not know that bamboo toilet paper was a thing. That's fascinating. But bamboo is also very replenishable, so it would make sense. But I had no idea. No dishwasher controversies, please. We're not ready for that level of controversy. Kayvon, I appreciate that. Jake's Baby Cake says fold. Oh, now we've gotten not just into over under, but water fold. And water fold is a whole separate toilet paper conversation. But I think it's a good one because most of my house wads. They showed it on an episode of The Good Doctor. Oh, that's fair. I mean, it's kind of an age-old question. It's just with the pandemic, it came up enough that I was like, okay, we have to do this. I live with 8 cats and have never had a problem with them pulling it. You just close the bathroom door. That is totally fair for us based on where our house was situated. The litter for my girl, we had a girl's bathroom and a boy's bathroom, and my girl was in my bathroom with me, and her litter was in my bathroom, so we had to. But can we talk about colored toilet paper in Europe? What colored toilet paper in Europe? I know nothing. Let us know, Miss Henke, because we need to know now about the colored toilet paper in Europe. I mean, we have a hard enough time finding toilet paper. It's not so bad now. Earlier in the pandemic, it was. But we have a hard enough time finding toilet paper. I don't have anything other than white. I didn't know that was an option. Dylan's mom was like, no, forget the toilet paper. We're just going the bidet route. Neither of my cats touch the toilet paper, freestanding toilet paper holder because everyone's happy with a simple twist. There you go. I feel like the patent holders the patent knowers have to fight. I feel like the patent knowers have had fights in relationships. I mean, maybe you would have to have, well, the toilet paper is very controversial. So use a bidet. There we go. Living Sweetly is like, forget all of you and your toilet paper. We don't have bidets in our house. I don't know. Maybe that was the real question. Diva Views is like, we're done. We're done. No, but colored toilet paper. What? I don't think I've ever seen colored toilet paper. I'm fascinated. Why is there colored toilet paper? We have different colors here in Europe and it's awesome. I have blue and yellow in my house right now. That would be so much fun. We have a mom bathroom and a husband and 2 boys bathroom in our house. That's completely fair to separate bathrooms sometimes by gender. And it's fair. Lots of y'all are saying your cats do not bother the toilet paper, which is good to know. So, my grandpa used to keep it in a coffee can because he said if a mouse got in the house, it would shred it. I can understand how we got to there for sure. I'm very, very excited. A, we've learned lots about colored toilet paper and fancy fun toilet paper. But B, y'all go over. Colored toilet papers from the 70s and apparently Europe. I am loving the chat right now. You guys are so great. Thank you so much for 80K. You guys have been great this evening. It is almost twinkle twinkle time and we're seeing 80K on the front end. Thank you guys. We are getting so close to purple hair. I'm very excited. We have a lot coming up next week. I've seen pink paper on Instagram and it does look fun. That does sound fun. It does sound fun. I mean, it might be too much to ask during COVID when toilet paper is still a problem, but I love it. And see there, Lisa, it is a thing. The cats in the toilet paper. It is a thing. It is a thing. It is a thing. Melissa said I bought my father-in-law camo toilet paper for his birthday. But I imagine, because we've done camo like napkins and like tablecloths and stuff for the kids' birthdays, especially when we did like an archery birthday party, but they were all very thick because of the print. So I don't know if that printed toilet paper would be. I don't know. I'm fascinated. You guys, it looks like over is winning for sure. So we will see. I'm going to put up the poll on Instagram tomorrow. I'm going to put up the poll on Twitter tonight when I am done. And tomorrow I will be on Instagram a little bit. I have a whole bunch of mail from y'all, which I appreciate. We are going to do a little mail unboxing tomorrow. And I am live tomorrow on Video Influencers channel. I totally forget what time, but I'll put it in the community tab. I'll send it out to the text crew and I'll put it on Twitter too. So you guys can come hang with me tomorrow to talk like YouTube-y, businessy video influencer things. So oh no, that's not a live stream. I forget when people don't live stream things. I'm like, oh no, we're just pre-recording an interview. You edit shit and stuff. I'm like, I just yammer for hours. So I'm recording an interview tomorrow. I'm very excited. That'll be up on Video Influencers and I'll share it with you guys. That's no live stream. What else? Wednesday, there's going to be a pre-recorded video about the Girardis. And it looks like Wednesday is when the motion from Saltsy is due. So we will have to deal with that when it's filed. We will do a live reacts just like we've done with everything else lately. In that case, we'll just do a live reacts together. I thought that was really fun. We did that this week when the motion from Brown came down. We were like, let's just live react it. So now that we know the deadline, we kind of have a little bit of a guidance that when it will be up. It could go up before then. We'll see. We'll do the best we can to do a live reacts on that. We will be live on this channel Tuesday for Coffee and Cursey Words. Just join now, but I will watch later. 80K is amazing. Congrats. Thank you, Crazy9200. I appreciate it. Thank you. This is a fun tidbit from Pam. The FDA outlawed colored toilet paper in the US in the 70s due to medical issues caused by the dyes causing problems from irritations to cancer. Interesting. So we did not do colored toilet paper well, it sounds like. So the real question is softness TP or strong TP. I mean, and that gets into the whole like wadding or like folding conversation, I would think. And then we're getting into a whole bunch of conversations. Did you know Scott sold pink, blue, and green toilet paper in the 80s and 90s? Well, I think we just learned why they don't anymore. And I appreciate that. So Tuesday, I'm hoping this will turn over. We're at 2 hours. Yeah, no Harry Potter shit over here. Tuesday, I will be live for Coffee and Cursey Words at 11 a.m. Central Time. We will do topical stuff. It depends on what's going on. Wednesday, there will be a deep dive on the Girardi case with the new attorney declarations and the new filing from Edelson PC, and a little bit of the tea with regard to Eric Girardi, because just a little bit of the tea. Then we will be live for Friday Night Live. I imagine there will be, at some point next week, with all these additional filings, a impromptu We Ride Live. I always run those by the mods because we do get 4,000 law nerds up in this piece. So we do make sure that we have the mod squad to just keep the chat, because when we do topical chat, people come in that aren't necessarily law nerds or are new law nerds and don't kind of know that our chat is a place for compassionate conversation and not for bombing and spamming and that kind of stuff. So the mods definitely keep the chat a really fun place to have a conversation. And that is something that is very important to me, because the mods work on like Emily's guidelines of y'all. I want the chat to be fun and respectful and compassionate. And sometimes when we talk about different topics, it pulls interest from other places on the internet. And, you know, sometimes we don't bring fuckery up into our chat. So the mods, I appreciate it so much. Hopefully you guys see 80K on the front end. I'm going to go see the kiddos. We're probably going to watch WandaVision, that we might put on a movie. And it still hasn't turned yet, you guys. It just hasn't. I'll take a picture and post it on the Instagrams when it does, and on the Twitters. So if you guys don't follow me on the socials, those are the socials. I haven't mentioned it, but if you are a new law nerd, you can get your law nerd gear at the Law Nerd Shop. That's all going to be in my outro. Thank you guys for being with us. No, Tuesday is not on IG. So just for everybody who's new, I love you guys. Welcome. Tuesday, I am live here for Coffee and Cursey Words at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time every single Tuesday. We have coffee. We have a chat. We're going to start doing some interviews, all the things. So we do all the things on Tuesday. And then on Friday, we do our Friday Night Live. Amazing. On Wednesday, I release a pre-recorded video with Premiere so we can all get in the live chat and chat. And then we go live when shit goes down, which is why, if you are in North America, the text crew is where you want to be, because that's where I'm like, y'all, I'm stuck in the car line and I want to talk. Can we just go live on Instagram? I'll just do that. So tomorrow I'll be live on Instagram unboxing some stuff because I have a mail time to do. And that's it, you guys. Don't forget to like on the way out. I'm glad you guys can see 80K on the front end. I am so excited about that. I just can't believe we got there this week. We are getting real close, y'all. We're getting real close. So from the law, thank you for keeping it classy, law nerds. Thank you for all your support this week, not just from the creators, but from the community as well. There was a lot of fuckery that popped off this week, and I very, very much appreciate all of you for just being amazing and just not putting up with bullshit, but also just being respectful and just moving away from fuckery. It's just been so great. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. I can't believe we hit 80K and it's time to say goodnight. It's twinkle, twinkle time, y'all. It's twinkle, twinkle time. Have a great night. Thank you for being here. Connect with me everywhere. I'm at the Emily D. Baker. If you guys want to join the text, just text Emily.com. If you want to join the channel, lawnerdsunite.com. Happy to have you. Support what we do here on the YouTube.